Welcome, guys, to a top 8 game. We've got Johan in the red corner against Ulysses, Patrick, I believe, in the blue corner, who's just going to be joining in, dropping his roster in. There we go. Look at that right there. So we've got a Black Order roster against a Cabal Criminal Syndicate roster. So I'm joined by Hugo. Hugo, how are you doing?
I am doing very well, and I'm very excited for this game, Jacob.
Yeah, also known as Huggy Bear. So, have you got any insights to offer us on either of the rosters or the matchup?
Um, I would like to think so. We have the sort of unique situation that Ulysses is one of the writers of the great piece on how to play Black Order that was published um, just before this TTS season. So he's actually given us all the material to what his game plan is likely to be.
And how to beat him as well. I remember being
Yes,
included.
that one was published slightly later.
So I think we've got the map out now. Interesting map. So we've got a size four, couple of size four trucks in kind of diagonally opposite corners. Some size threes. It looks like a decent map. Good map. There's nothing.
One of my favorites, to be honest.
No size fives that we have to contend with. They're just talking through the terrain and agreeing on things like how to deal with the trees, with the base of the tree, for example, and what kind of things can be stood on and what kind of things might not be able to be stood on. But let's have a look at the Black Order roster then. So, unsurprisingly, we've got Thanos, Proxima, Corvus, and 4 gems. Okoye, again, a regular feature. Zemo, definitely in favour. And then kind of the one slight maybe curveball is Loki. Have you got a handle on why Loki's in there?
I actually think he's not that much of a curveball. I think he's in most Black Order rosters this season. He's, well, the sort of utility cookie paradigm. He's sort of the one who developed the list from the start. But his motivation behind Loki is that he is a character that can count blanks on attack rolls, which um, is combines very well with the Death's Decree. So you can get on, for example, 18 points. You can have both Corvus and Loki to have some another character with real high quality attacks.
We've got some initiative coming in now.
Yes, priority for this game is huge, and
Ah,
it
yes.
looks like Johan has got it.
Okay, so what do you think he wants going to want to be doing? Because received wisdom is deny them extracts. Do you think he's going to go down that route?
I do think so. Priority is always a huge thing when it comes to Black Order matchups. Not that it's necessarily benefits either side greatly, but it will certainly affect how the game is going to turn out. Um, I expect Johan to go for extracts to try and get a fast one, and uh, Ulysses will then likely go for demons, I suppose. You don't really want to play Gamma against criminals, even if you're Black Order, I think. Um, and Riot's Extremis is kind of okay, I guess. So I would suppose. Looks like we got demons and cubes.
Demons and cubes. So that fast extract along with the slow brawly secure. So yeah, interesting matchup. What threat
For
would you be
sure.
playing if you were Johan choosing?
Um, as a matter of fact, by knowing that the threats that Black Order like most are 17 and 20, those are the most well-rounded points levels. There is perhaps an argument to be had for 19, but what that does is basically just give the Black Order player an additional Okoye to hold cubes. And so, for that reason, I think Johan will go for 17 to keep the Black Order players' characters to 3, which means that Corvus Proxima Thanos for 9 points, and that means that the only character you really want to be having a cube on is Proxima. You you don't want one on Corvus because then he can't mothership. and putting one on Thanos is, of course, an option, but those damage stack up on him, and he may actually go down to some spikes.
Yeah, and then it's kind of a double-edged sword, isn't it? Grabbing those
It is.
cubes, especially Thanos, because he can't reduce it because it's not an enemy effect. Unlike Iron Man, turns out Iron Man's armor is better than Thanos's.
And I also have some insight on Rorin that he loves his cubes and he loves his bullseye because that is where the real nice combination comes in. That bullseye can control the number of damage points he makes to a quite high extent. So he can try and hit that sweet spot where the opponent's character dazes in the power phase due to the cubes, and not overshoot that damage, so to speak.
Just had confirmation from Wargaming Dad, who is our table judge, that they're playing at 17 threat. We do also have a line judge on this. That's AJP2 or Abby. So if you spot any rules things and you want to, you can put them in chat. Abby's, I believe, is following the stream and she'll see them and relay them on. Or you can message Abby directly, AJP2 on Discord, and she'll get any of those things that maybe missed in the rules relayed onto our table judge. Who'll make sure that they all happen properly. So 17 threat, interesting. So maybe not quite what we were expecting. So are we going to see Okoye coming in there, or are we going to see the 9 threat Thanos? What's your feeling on that?
We'll see. I mean, the go-to list for Black Order at 17 was the one I mentioned. Perhaps Ulysses will surprise us, given that we are in fact playing cubes and picking up cubes is important. Or maybe the demons makes him feel confident enough that the scenario as a whole is slow enough for him to not need a 4th character on the table.
Yeah, they kind of pull you in different directions, those two, don't you? Because you're right. The slow demons make you think, well, 3's fine. I'll just beat everyone up. But yeah, getting enough cubes on enough bodies might be the difference between winning and losing. So it's a really important decision to be making it in this turn 0.
And it's also ironically, it reduces his killing power because he needs to be more mindful of the priority swing if he brings in a 4th character. It reduces the number of character he can daze or KO without losing priority by 1.
Finger Guns in chat, who I know there's another Black Order player, is betting on Time Thanos. So interesting to hear that perspective from someone who's got that experience.
For sure.
Yes, just a CT. Why is it not Sword? Well, I guess we have to play something else. I mean, you can't play every match on Sword, although it kind of feels like that at the minute.
I don't know if any of the players have Sword.
No, but I'd be very surprised if Black Order was bringing Sword.
Yeah, me too.
But I can, like a Sin Cabal on Sword would be good, but I don't think that's the build that Johan's got in his roster.
He can build it for sure. Only he hasn't brought any Cabal tactics cards for it.
So you're expecting to see Criminal Syndicate featuring Bullseye then?
Yes, that would certainly be my expectation. And as wide as possible. He can go 6 wide at 17 quite easily.
It's a good idea against Black Order. Try and sort of, Corvus can remove any piece he wants from the table, so there's no great point in putting a high threat model in there because it will just get focused down and removed relatively quickly. Whereas by spreading out your threat across more pieces, when Corvus removes something, it has less of an impact on the functioning of the rest of your team, and you can still run around and do things.
Exactly, and it's also a question of timing, because the more activations you have, the more times the Black Order player needs to pause and let you do things without him interfering, like setting up to score points, basically. So activation order and timing is always a very big thing in Black Order games.
And you talked about the timing that the more you're giving your opponent more opportunity to make mistakes, which you can then capitalize on, which I like.
Yes.
Now, having said that, Ulysses, very good player. He's been playing Black Order a lot, so I wouldn't expect him to make those mistakes, but it's still
No.
something that you've got to watch out for when you're in these competitive matchups.
It's an interesting thing that both players in this matchup are very long-term committed to their respective affiliations. Ulysses, I think, have been playing Black Order since he started the game. Started playing the game last year. I had the pleasure of playing against him at one point where he said that he had been playing the game for 2 weeks, I think, and he had just wrecked me. So he's very competent with his Black Order, obviously. And I know Johan, who is a local of mine, has been grinding criminals basically since they came out late 2020, but even more stably since January this year.
Okay. So we have gone 6 wide by the looks of it,
Yes.
like you talked about, against 3 wide. So we've got this the big old 9-threat Thanos, the mind and time Thanos. So
And an interesting thing here is that we don't have a kingpin,
okay.
but
So
it's still criminals
so we've
because
got
he has all according to plan.
Ghost Spider, Taskmaster. We've got Okoye, obviously. We've got Bullseye. We've got Crossbones and Sin. So yeah, interesting. I guess
Basically, he's playing the Cabal, Sin, Swarm, but instead of Dark Reign, he has all according to plan.
okay, that's an interesting take, isn't it? Yeah. So this is this Cabal affiliated? Bullseye is in Cabal.
It's
Taskmaster is a rogue
criminals
agent.
because
Yeah, but he could be playing Cabal. Crossbones is Cabal. Is Bullseye Cabal? I think he is.
he is
Yeah. And then
for sure.
Taskmaster is.
Then he can't use all according to plan.
That's true. So it's clear. Yeah, we've got tactical analysis. We've got all according to plan. We've got bitter rivals. We've got climbing gear, and we've got brace for impact. Again, brace for impact against Black Order, often better than you think it's going to be. It's those wild throws that Thanos has on his punches.
Yes.
Relatively standard fare from Ulysses. We've got Mothership, we've got All You've Got, we've got Bitter Rivals, we've got Medpack, and the last one we've got No Matter the Cost. That's a Corvus card, isn't it, really, that No Matter the Cost?
Yes, it puts the death blow online from the start. I think it's an excellent card in Black Order, which I'm kind of surprised that you don't see more often in Black Order rosters.
And, you've got that health cost that's associated with it, but you kind of don't mind if Corvus gets dazed, because then he gets 4 dice on his Death's Decree.
Exactly.
So you're pretty happy either way. You're getting those death blows off early, and you're getting Corvus to the point where he gets more dice and kills more stuff more better.
And that is a very interesting aspect to this game now that we have seen Johan's team here. That normally, when you're playing against Black Order, there's basically no reason to do damage to the enemy characters because they are basically guaranteed priority, and if you daze them and they become injured, they just become better. They hit harder with Death's Decree. But with all according to plan in there...
Yeah, that's a really interesting tech, isn't it? That idea that you can try and prevent Corvus from stealing the priority, from double dipping, dazing it in round 1 and then KOing in round 2 or round 2 and round 3.
Yes.
By stealing that priority and getting that character out to safety, or maybe even attacking Corvus and taking him down. Probably don't want to do that.
But because going from 3 characters to 2 only for 1 round is kind of big for Black Order. It becomes way harder for them to get the most out of their activations that remain. So it sets up for a possible swing turn points-wise in the Black Order opponent's favor, so to speak.
Okay, so we've got Bullseye coming up and grabbing that cube. If you're Black Order, how many cubes do you want to pick up?
My guess would be 1, actually.
And that's just on Proxima, right?
Yes. I mean, we could see one on Thanos, I, given what I've heard from various Black Order players, that is something you want to be doing a bit later in the game, so that damage from the cube doesn't stack up across too many turns.
Yeah, and also there's Mothership as well. You don't want to be holding an extract because then you can't jump around the board. Although maybe that's not going to be as impactful in this game in terms of the VP game. But I think you'll see Mothership still being used to get Corvus into position to start eating things. But
there is, of course, the possibility that we might see an early Mothership, maybe even turn around one. I have seen Thanos triple move and then Mothership immediately round one.
Yep, that seems good. Looks like Ulysses hasn't powered up yet. I'm sure that the table judge will catch that and make sure that power gets added. So Taskmaster coming up and grabbing another cube. Something interesting. I wonder if he goes late with Ghost Spider to threaten to double long move to go and get that cube in front of Thanos, so that he's trying to.
Maybe. The thing is, generally, when you're playing against Black Order, is that you want to be activating your important characters last, because what Thanos wants to be doing is use his portal and mind gem to serve characters in front of Corvus, who can then activate first next round and daze or KO them. And if your character is activated, then they have no chance of getting out of there before that happens. Then your only chance is moving Corvus with an Enchantress or something. But if the character hasn't activated, it can just double move away from there. So you always have one character that can go last and be safe, so to speak. And my guess is that in this setup, it should be either Ghost Spider or Sin.
Yep. Why would you pick those two? I mean, Ghost Spider we just kind of talked about a little bit, but why Sin?
Maybe you're right, because Sin is he's playing without a leadership, so that means Sin isn't that important. Maybe because she enables a double activation on the all according to plan round, which could be kind of big.
Yep, I can see that. And Sin's only got 4 health on her healthy side, so she's really easy to do that sort of round 1 days, round 2 KO trick too. So I can totally understand keeping her safe. She's also got that rapid fire on her, which can be good because with the damage reduction that they've got, it's so often the case that you're only taking 1 damage anyway. So multiple instances of 1 damage soon add up to a significant amount of damage.
Pretty good against Corvus and Proxima, pretty bad against Thanos.
Yeah, that's true. That's fair, because Thanos can reduce it down to 0, whereas Corvus and Proxima can't.
And most of the time you're doing 1, maybe 2 damage to Corvus and Proxima, no matter what you throw at them.
Okay, so
unless you spike.
After 2 activations, so before he needs to, Ulysses is looking to activate Proxima. He could pass once more. But looks like he's eyeing up doing something with Proxima. Maybe you'd expect her to grab a cube and then go back onto a back demon point. Maybe just in front of that police car, so that if Corvus needed to jump in back to a mix somewhere, then he's got another mothership option.
You want to be scoring some points. You need to be scoring some points. So seems like a very good move for Proxima would be to grab that cube and then run back to stand on top of that police car next to the demon portal. Thanos doesn't like to be incinerated, and I doubt Corvus does either. So Proxima should be the sacrificial lamb of the bunch.
I think that makes a lot of sense. I think there's a question. Because I think that's a size. Oh, no, it's only a size 2 police car. So she can. You're right. She can just like run on top of it. Would you go on top of it and then be angling for the cover, or would you be going as close to Johan's team as you can to make yourself the best possible mothership off target for someone to reposition them back if they end up out of position. Although looking at it, there's not a lot of positioning.
You mean maybe so that you can maybe keep to get do one move and then a spear throw and then a mothership? Yeah, possibly.
Yeah, so there's interesting because there's kind of three options. Do you go as far back as you can and try and have distance as your defense? Do you go on the car, which is kind of the compromised position positionally in terms of where she is in the forwards backwards axis, and it also adds cover, or do you go as far forward as you can? Looks like we're going on the police car, going for that cover.
Yeah. Which is sort of a middle way solution.
Yeah, and still think about her projecting her spear throw. She's covering that center ground. That's the interesting.
I think she could reach the rightmost demon portal with a spear throw, long move, range 3.
Oh, I think easily.
Not sure,
yeah,
but
yeah. The long move's going to put her far on the other side of that cube in the middle.
an interesting question would be which of Johan's characters that Ulysses considers his best first kill, so to speak.
Yeah. I think Ghost
Because
Spider.
he wants to get the pain train rolling. Yeah, Ghost Spider. Yeah.
If you're going to choose one, you want to take away Lifesaver if you can.
Of course, yeah.
Interesting, I mentioned that he didn't have to activate Proxima at that point. He does now kind of have to activate, otherwise he might lose priority because of the Sin and Crossbones combo.
That's true.
So normally you can go, I'm going to pass until I have the same number of models as you, and then we'll activate equally, and we won't have a problem, and I'll keep priority. If you do that, and you go, well, I've got Corvus left, say, at the end, or Thanos left at the end, and they go, well, I've got Sin and Crossbones, I'm going to activate Sin, move up, do her superpower, activate Crossbones, and you're activating last, I get priority. So it's just another way that Johan has to try and steal the priority away from this three wide Black Order team.
Yes, that is, I didn't think of that. Maybe, I think that would be more impactful at a later round in the game when he can actually utilize that priority more than is the case right now by trying to get a daze on probably Proxima or Corvus. I'm having a hard time seeing him dazing Thanos in one activation.
Yeah, and he hasn't got any of the typical control features you'd expect to have on a Thanos. There's no Shuri, or there's no nobody who can even throw him. Yeah,
it's Ghost Spider's web line, basically.
Yeah, but that brings you towards, which is often not where you want him. Crossbones overpower is only size 2, so can't overpower Thanos, turns out. So I think Ulysses is going to, as long as his positioning is good, his pieces are going to end up where he wants them. And that was, that lack of displacement might prove problematic for Johan.
Yeah, for sure. Or his plan is to actually take the fight.
Ooh, possibly. I mean, let's think about the VP. There's no Kingpin for the leadership. I was thinking you could just run Ghost Spider last activation onto that back portal and steal it, but you can't because you haven't got the Kingpin leadership. Man,
Would
I'm having to completely.
Worth 1 point though?
Well, I was just thinking, what's possible? Can you score out? Can you even score out in 3? Is that possible? So, I think it's likely Johan will.
It's theoretically possible, but
it's unlikely.
There are 8 points on the board. Proxima is holding 2, so there's 6 left. If he scores them 3 times, that's 18. So sure, it's theoretically possible. But
so what's realistic then? So that center is the interesting one, isn't it? Because there's going to be probably a Thanos in that middle. So Thanos, Because Thanos could go and get the cube and stand on a portal. I don't love that play, but it's possible he could do that. In which case, he's going to be sitting on 4 VPs unless he brings people in and stand next to Thanos. And that doesn't sound like a great plan. Because then Corvus motherships in and goes ham on people. So, and
Absolutely.
Thanos...
And it's too early to. He's not going to have the power for all according to plan yet.
Well, unless Corvus like takes out 2 people and then they flip and then they've got a bunch of power, so it's possible. But actually,
I wouldn't really want to be Thanos standing in the middle of the table, incinerated, and with chip damage from a cube, and then your opponent takes priority. That is still kind of scary.
That would be bad for sure. But getting 4 VPs going even 4-4 on round 1, that feels like a really strong position for Black Order to be in. Well, here comes Thanos. We'll see whether he's going to grab a cube, whether he's going to stand within that portal. I think it's quite a bold play if he does that, but I kind of like it.
Yeah. Me too.
Because then he'd spend 1 to pick up the cube. He'd still have 2 to pay for Mothership to bring Corvus in, so he's got all the power he needs.
Yeah, and if he can score 4 per round, which is half of the points, then we're actually looking at a situation where Black Order is advantaged points-wise, since they have the extra points from KOs from the leadership.
Yeah, not to mention that, you can then start KOing cube carriers and get even more cubes. It's possible, maybe, that Black Order could have a round 3 victory. that sounds wrong, but I wouldn't rule it out in this game.
Yeah, I mean, 4 points a round for 3 rounds is 12. So he needs to find 4 more points somewhere. Maybe take an extra cube from someone, get a KO sometime during round 3. A KO, as things are looking now, we'll see if he tries to fetch in Bullseye or Okoye there, but as long as he doesn't daze a character round 1, then the earliest we can see a KO is round 3.
I wouldn't. I really wouldn't rule out a round 1 days, because he's going to have Mothership online. He's looking at.
He's looking at bringing in Bullseye.
Well, Bullseye is holding a cube, so that does paint a target on his forehead. I mean, he's already got one, but another target.
That is true.
So
he does have parting shot. So if he randomly flubs his dice for the first attack, Bullseye might be getting away.
So then this turns off. If he does pay for the Cosmic Portal, then he doesn't have the power for a Mothership, unless he pulls him in and punches him. So you've got a single move. We're looking at a second move. Pull him in, punch him. He would need to do what?
2 damage.
2 damage if he picks up the cube, and 1 damage if he's not fussed about picking up any of the cubes.
I suppose it's likely that he will strike before he picks up the cube, that he can get as much information as possible before.
Yeah,
deciding.
And I also think it's entirely possible that if he does manage to take down Bullseye, that he just drops the cube on the floor and goes, that can go over there, and that's a problem you have to deal with, and you're essentially staggering one of your characters to go and score that VP. So I'm not going to score my VPs because I'm not trying to race you. I'm trying to kill you. And so slowing the game as much as possible by leaving things on the floor, I think is always something that Black Order should be considering, should be thinking about.
For sure. It's I think it's quite rare to see Black Order go to 16 points. Usually they win by having the lead by the end of round 6.
Yeah, sort of 11 victory points or something like that.
Or or by annihilation, but that is obviously rare, but slightly less rare than for most other affiliations, I suppose. Given that they are the hardest punchers in the Marvel Crisis Protocol universe.
Do you think that bullseye is within range 3 of Corvus by any chance? I think it's pretty close.
He might very well be. But the interesting thing is now that Thanos, if he punches him and gets to throw him, he will move him further down.
Yeah. Here comes our first dice of the game.
Yep.
And
there is the throw. And a decent block, actually.
But you've got to remember again the parting shot.
Yep.
So 2 through, which is perfect for Thanos. Thanos could now choose to pick up a cube and still have enough power to mothership Corvus in.
Parting shot. Let's see if he elects to. It looks like he elects to throw bullseye.
Yep, that happens first.
Yeah. Who can then possibly parting shot to get outside of 3 of Corvus. Maybe. If he has the angle for that.
Well, it looks like he's going to go into
because he needs to be measuring that from Thanos.
Now, parting shot won't do any damage to Thanos, because that 1 damage will be reduced by Thanos' superpower. Sure. But it's the short advance away from the attacking character. So yes. That's interesting as well. It has to be away from Thanos.
Yes, because he was the one making the attack.
Yeah. So it's if you're within 2, you should be able to get out of 3. It depends how much within 2 you are. So it looks like the throw he's going for as close to Corvus as possible. Maybe he's thinking about that parting shot. Because if you're significantly within 2, then a short is not going to get you out of 3. And that cube has come a long way down the board now.
Mm-hmm.
So Thanos is sitting on the portal, so he is going to be incinerated. And he does have the power to grab a cube if he wants to and still have Mothership online.
A short move tool plus a base is significantly longer than a
range 2.
A range 2.
You're right. Because the short move by itself is longer than the range 2 and the base does add. Yep, you're right. The maths
so I think he needs to be be closer than half of the range 2 movement tool to not be able to get out of there, I think.
So is he choosing to parting shot? Thanos has grabbed the cube. So we've got this situation where Ulysses is lining up to score 4 VPs, which is going to be parity. Looks like Bullseye's choosing to stay where he is. Yep, okay.
No.
I think running away from Corvus would have been a good plan. He is out of range 2 of Corvus right now, and so maybe he's thinking, I don't need to worry about that. Maybe he's not seeing the all you've got play. Aha! Along came a spider. So I think we know what's going to happen now.
He's obviously going to spike a lot of damage into Thanos, because that is how impact webbing works.
That's not what he's after. He's after just the single power in order to then do the web line.
Absolutely.
Okay, looks like he flubbed the roll.
Yeah. No damage, but 1 power is 1 power.
For sure.
Ghost Spider needs to be careful. And now Ulysses has an interesting choice here. Does he go for the kill on Bullseye, or does he mothership in to start killing Ghost Spider?
Well,
Looks like he elected to move.
he's saving that mothership.
Yeah. And this is an interesting placement because he is now blocking a potential lifesaver further down the line. Should Ghost Spider move up a bit longer?
So here comes Corvus with a 5 dice. Ah, no, we've paid off Thanos, so it looks like we're going to have a 7 dice strike.
Death's Decree.
Yeah. No Wakandan or Modocs or beasts or anything like that around, so rolling attack and defense at the same time is absolutely fine.
He is going to do the 2 damage to Bullseye there.
Yeah, the only sad thing Corvus will be thinking is, I wish I'd have got more power out of that.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, it's kind of likely he would have gotten that even without Death's Decree.
Sure, but you're just stacking your odds, aren't you?
Yeah.
You're making sure of it. And Thanos had the power, and he's going to be on 3 power next round.
For sure.
And putting that cube in a place where Proxima can just grab it if she wants. So we're expecting Bullseye to be removed from the table.
Yeah.
Now, let's have a look. Is he going to have enough power to steal priority if he wanted to? So Taskmaster will have 1, Bullseye will have 6. Yeah, it looks like he could play all according to plan at the beginning of round 2 if he wanted to try and keep Bullseye alive and get him out of dodge.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he runs, grabs, he could even have enough so that Bullseye will have a power left to grab a cube and run even further away.
Looks like we're seeing some pew-pew shots into Thanos from Sin here.
It's a good roll.
Not bad.
But it's going to be blocked by Thanos. He's already blocked 3. Yeah.
No damage.
Okay, and then let's do that again. Oh! Sin is rolling hot.
Oof. I bet he wishes that Incinerate came on a little sooner than next round.
Thanos might be equal to it. He's blocking 3 of them. There are 4 of them in there. Look at that. So, hot dice on both sides.
Yeah. Evens out.
Yeah, I'm not sure you'd expect Sin to do much damage there, but she has also built a couple of power, which means it makes that power math of paying for all according to plan just a bit easier.
Absolutely.
And then Crossbones will waddle up. Oh, he hasn't got illicit tech. That could have been an interesting one.
Overall, he has, the movement cards are obviously potentially offensive cards, but overall he's playing with a lot of defensive cards.
So there's still a cube on the floor that was never picked up over near where Thanos was deployed, and another one from the one Bullseye dropped.
Mm-hmm.
So, man, it looks like Black Order are going to go up 4-2. That's
indeed.
And yeah, I think Ulysses would have been very happy with that as an outcome. So I think it's all about now. Can they do work into Thanos and take him out again against Black Order? That's often going to be one of your routes to victory. The secure isn't what Johan would have wanted in order to try and do the go wide plan. But maybe now he's just going to roll a bunch of dice, do that swarm tactic. I'm going to roll dice until eventually I get some damage through on Thanos, daze Thanos, take away that control, take away an activation. Maybe that's...
The question is now whether we will be seeing all according to plan now, or if he saves it.
I mean, the trouble with playing it now is Ulysses is kind of the control player here. He can just sit back and fortress Thanos and say, I've got all these cubes and I've got the positioning here. So, I'm just going to stay here. You've got to bring the game to me.
Yes, and that is the situation that a Black Order player expects to get after having dazed two or maybe three, dazed or KO'd maybe two or maybe three characters. But now Ulysses have gotten it after
Round
one
one.
round.
Yeah. So, I don't know, maybe a character that would have gone into the middle to contest the Thanos point and just... But then it's going to get beaten up. Maybe it's target saturation, something to consider, isn't it? I mean, sometimes they're just going to clear them, though. Corvus is going to take out two characters, and Thanos portals away two of them and punches away another two and mind gems away another one, and suddenly your target saturation isn't quite there, so maybe that strategy isn't viable.
The round 3 Black Order VP win that you speculated on is certainly still a possibility.
Jester CT makes a good point. He's saying you save the all according to plan for the turn you daze Corvus, steal priority, and then try and KO Corvus, take him off the table.
Yeah, that would be crippling to the Black Order player, unless Corvus has already managed to do a lot of work over the course of the game.
But taking out Bullseye, I'm not sure qualifies.
No, I think he is expendable.
But then, who is your damage dealer that you're going, this character in one activation is going to KO Corvus? Because there's no, all you've got, there's no damage, Bitter Rivals, I guess. Bitter Rivals might help.
I would suppose it's a double activation from Sin and Crossbones.
That would make sense, yeah. And Crossbones maybe with a bit of power on him. Yep.
Yeah.
So maybe he can pay for Haymaker.
Maybe a Crossbones that is flipped to his injured side and therefore can afford one or two Haymakers.
Yep, I can see that.
And maybe a couple of spenders on Sin as well.
Okay, so this is a 7 dice attack. Looks like we've had a Death Decree of Thanos. So this is a Corvus
or
strike.
A Death Blow, maybe?
We've had 2 paid off Thanos. So
yeah.
I think this is... wow, another great big attack.
Ooh,
it looks like
there
Corvus...
are three blocks.
Yeah.
1 pierce, though. So...
3 damage to Bullseye.
3 damage, yeah. And,
so he's hanging on in there, but looking like...
I would expect the parting shot now.
I don't think he'll be able to get out of 3, though, and Corvus has got plenty to pay for a death blow. And then he'll get to move up as well. So
yeah.
I totally expect it, and Corvus will take a damage, and that will help in the long run. Yeah. So if you're wondering where the 3 came from, just remember Corvus has the reality gem, and so that one of those skulls was a success as well, but only 1.
Yes. That should be 4 damage.
No. He didn't
because
pay for
of the pierce.
Ooh. Good catch. Yeah, Abby, if you could do your thing.
Or am I... Those are 6 hits. Those are 3 blocks.
There's 6 hits with 3 blocks, but 1 is turned to a blank. You're absolutely right. There's the pierce there. So I think you're right. Something's been missed. So that should be 4 damage on Bullseye. And he should have even more power. So maybe just considering the parting shot. I think you would take it. You're not going to get out of death blow range, but you are going to... Oh! I've been told it's Proxima attacking, not Corvus.
Oof!
So she doesn't have the pierce.
But how did Corvus get... Yeah, he did damage last
round. Yeah, he did a bunch of damage. He got 2 power from last round, 2 from damaging Bullseye, and then 2 more. Yep, there's the power going on to Proxima. Thank you, Jonah, for pointing that out.
Very interesting. Is parting shot once per turn?
Let's have a look at Bullseye.
It is not. Because if Proxima dazes or KOs Bullseye now, or gets him out of 3 of Corvus, then Corvus doesn't have a sort of trampoline for his to do a death blow and then have a medium move and then a flurry.
Yep, that's this is the Proxima's Big Spender, which does all kinds of horrible statuses, but only one crit, only one hit there, which is blocked. Oof. So sad times for Proxima, but maybe that was a bit of luck that Johan
there.
Sorry, what was
that? Second parting shot, looks like. Johan just removed 2 power from Bullseye, I think.
Yep, make him run away even more.
So, and that actually makes me think he may live. And Bullseye, with a lot of power, can actually put on the hurt.
Yeah. I mean, Proxima is, having taken a cube damage now, she's up to 3 damage, so Bullseye can just go, I'm just going to take out Proxima if he wants to. Just make 2 attacks. It's guaranteed to do it. Guaranteed to do it.
Yeah, he has enough to do a pincushion.
Oh, he just makes 2 regular attacks and pays for the doing 1 damage.
He's not going to be within 4 now, right?
Ah, gotcha, yeah. So, running away. Doesn't have a cube anymore, but trying to just deny that VP for KOing the character. I think Ulysses might be a bit put out, shall we say, that not only has he failed to get Bullseye, but Bullseye's run sufficiently far away. So, good play from Johan. Some dice that went his way, but
sure.
I think he kind of needed that from the position that Black Order were in.
I don't think it's a horrible thing to have Bullseye killed. I mean, it's hard to prevent, really, that Black Order is going to kill one character at leisure. But given the point state, Johan needs everything he can get here.
It's just denying that acceleration they'd get off the VPs from the leadership of KOing the character.
And maybe Ulysses is now thinking that given that he is in the lead and he has most of the extracts on his side of the table, maybe he can just afford to back off with Corvus, finish off Bullseye, and then back away with Thanos and just score points and make Johan come to him. So there's so Proxima will die next power phase.
Yep. So apart from the fact she's been medpacked.
Yes.
So medpack off. She's medpacked herself.
We will see if Bullseye has anything to say about that later. Or Lucky Okoye Spear Blast or something.
But now he's threatening. Here we go. So he's looking at the husband and wife. Yeah, he can move and make an attack. If he did that, yeah, there we go. So husband and wife move. Gonna try and do the 2 damage in a probably Glaive's Edge. So yeah, there's 3 power going in. Glaive's Edge strike, most likely. So blanks count on this. 5 dice, and there's the pierce on this. So he's got the pierce, man. He's got 5 hits with the pierce. That's
Do you? Yeah. So
doesn't need to roll the crit.
Out of the game.
Yeah, doesn't need to roll the crit.
Do you actually think that we might see a defensive mothership on Thanos here?
Because I'm just going to score 4 points each round because he's going to go to what 5, 10.
Because Proxima is within 3 of Thanos. So a Bitter Rivals would take Thanos down to 1 defense dice at the moment.
Oh, I see.
And that is not that good to be standing close to Sin and Crossbones with that.
Yep, especially with those rapid fires from Sin. It can suddenly
and
be
then all according
3
to
or 4
plan
damage.
around over that.
Yep. So I think Johan's got to respond to this by attacking Thanos, isn't it? Isn't that the play?
I suppose he doesn't have that many other options now that Corvus has retreated quite far back.
Yeah, and maybe he's very happy with Corvus being there right now because he knows he can just mothership in, possibly with priority? Question mark.
Yeah, trying to put some form of long-range damage into Proxima looks attractive, but then Thanos hasn't activated, so obviously he is. And it's interesting that he's used Medpack on Proxima because it usually goes on Thanos. So
For sure, but I think he's...
Oh, here comes the bitter rivals from Ulysses.
So bitter rivals on to Crossbones.
That is gonna lower the chance of Thanos getting dazed.
Yep, helps even it out. So that's come off Corvus, hasn't it? Yeah. And then something which I really like is them putting the bitter rivals card in the dice tray.
Yeah.
It's so easy to forget, and if you have it there as a prompt, a reminder, it's there. You can see it. It gets forgotten a lot less often.
TTS life hack for you there.
So Roran's trying to. Is he sending Crossbones on like a flanking maneuver, trying to keep him outside of 4 and threatening Corvus there?
Yeah, it looks like he's hunting Corvus, or he's just getting the hell out of Dodge with the bitter rivals token.
Ah, yes, there we go. Yeah, because he hasn't had an opportunity to daze him, you just run Crossbones away and go, that's fine. Somebody else can do all the attacks in a minute. I'm out of Thanos range, so that he would have to move in order to port me back in. But yeah, so if he wants to keep that defensive bubble up, Thanos has to activate next in order to portal and mind gem Crossbones back into Bitter Rivals range for everyone else for that defensive tech.
That is gonna give Johan 4 activations in a row?
If he wanted to do that, that would be 4 back to back. I mean, you'd hope that was enough to kill Thanos, but
or Proxima. I mean, or putting 3 damage on Proxima, because I think going down to 2 characters is still it makes life a lot harder for Black Order.
It does, but if you were going to choose 2 characters to go down to, it would be Thanos and Corvus.
Absolutely. But Proxima is the character that is the lowest hanging fruit, so to speak.
That's true, and you got the nice thing, because of the timing of the cube damage, that she would daze and then skip a whole round being dazed early doors. So we've still got all you've got as well from Ulysses, and I think this could almost be an all you've got turn?
Thanos?
Question mark? Not on Thanos. I don't think you want an all you've got Thanos.
No.
Oh, I see.
Away the control
Yeah, because no, it can't be this turn. You're right, because Corvus has already gone. But maybe next turn, mothership in, hit someone, get some power. All you've got. It depends if that first attack goes well with the bonus from Death's Decree. That generates enough power to turn on a whole load of options.
For sure. Looks like Corvus paid for the bitter rivals because he went down to 2 power.
Yeah. So that's come off Corvus onto Crossbones. So do you suck in Crossbones if you're Ulysses? Do you say, right, I'm just gonna have to move, reposition a little bit, bring Crossbones back in, and then punch a Koye or something?
If he doesn't, he's more or less wasted his bitter rivals.
Well, it's drawn Crossbones out. So he's traded that card 3 power for putting Crossbones in a position where, I mean, that's a horrible position for Crossbones to be in. Unless he's thinking, I'm going to steal priority and then I'm going to attack Corvus.
Yeah.
But that's become harder now that Bullseye's been KO'd, because you have to pay that 10 power off affiliated Criminal Syndicate characters. So now he's only got Sin, Crossbones, and Taskmaster to do that.
That is a very good observation.
But I mean, Sin is likely to generate at least 2 more power, +1 for the power up. So she's got almost 7 by herself, and she doesn't have particularly great ways to spend power. So spending 7 off Sin, you're kind of like, yeah, that's fine.
Defender is not bad, though.
Yeah, but are you happy with her just pew-pewing her with her pistol?
Against Thanos, I think you need to make good dice on the spender, because the rapid fire attack is just not gonna do it.
Yeah, it's very unlikely.
Maybe with a bit of rivals stacked with Incinerate.
Yeah, that would help for sure. But then again, the power math is slightly wonky here. You're thinking, right, I want to spend 10 power on All According to Plan and another 3 power on Bitter Rivals. Have I just got 13 power floating around? And the answer is yes, I think he will next round. But then what that does is that
Rivals does not have to be paid by affiliated criminals.
that's true.
Well.
So you could have Ghost Spider's got some power, Okoye's got some power as well. So either of those would be able to play it next round. But then by paying that 13 power, that's a big power drain, and so you're making less good quality attacks, and so you're less likely. It's an interesting trade-off. It's one of the fun mechanics of this game.
For sure. So, wonder if Ulysses has decided to activate Thanos, or if he's just considering it.
I think activating Thanos and bringing him closer feels like a trap. Because then Gwen's got enough to webline Thanos somewhere else. Maybe if you go and stand, sort of, and try and sort of front stop yourself with that lamppost that's just in front of the Okoye. Sorry, not Okoye. Who's that over there? Is that Sin? Yeah, just in front of Sin. Looks like, yeah, that looks like a Mind Gem. So I think we've got a Thanos activation, Mind Gemming Sin away. Still got 3 actions with Thanos.
Yep.
And the other cube holder is Taskmaster. So if you wanted to try and start getting that, grab that cube, get that VP, swing, keep going.
Question is if he needs that cube now. He has 3 cubes and 1 portal, so he will be scoring 4.
Oh, he's quite likely to. I guess it depends if Johan sort of rushes in. He could deny that portal. You're right. So 4 would take him to 9.
You could try and force a win round 3, or you could just comfortably win round 4. I know what my pick would be.
I don't think you need to force it that hard, because next round Proxima can walk to that top cube that's never been picked up and then walk back to exactly where she is.
Yeah, question is, yeah, then he needs to find another 2 points somewhere.
Yeah, maybe from the leadership.
Yeah.
Depends if
but that means he needs to daze at least 2. Yeah. I think it's unlikely to the round 3 win is it can happen, surely, but he needs to stretch quite a bit, I think.
Corvus dazes a whole load of people and ends on that far portal. I think it's not beyond the realms of possibility.
Oh, it's not. Nothing's impossible here. But I mean, it's much more of a gamble than just I'm just gonna sit here, score 4 points and win, because Johan is not gonna score 16 points by round 4.
No.
Not by a long shot. So
spicy move with Thanos down here, bringing the pain to Crossbones.
Yes. And getting far away from anyone remotely able to deal any sort of damage to Thanos.
Yep, and he's hiding behind size 3, so he'll get cover from that building.
Yep.
Which helps mitigate those poor defensive dice from the Incinerate. But yeah, just distance as a defense is an excellent defense. And that kind of explains now. I was kind of wondering what that Sin move was about, and I think it's clear now why he pushed Sin away. He's going for, it's fine, you're just going to have to spend actions running across the board to me. He has ceded that centre point, which means that it could be, Ghost Spider could spend her action going to grab that top cube. So Johan could score 4, but then it'll be 4-4. And that...
You could also webline Proxima closer to Johan's other characters, and maybe they could do some work on her and make her drop 2 cubes.
Yep, and then maybe he'll have enough activations to have someone rush in and pick up those 2 cubes. So we could see a big VP play here.
Yeah, because then she gets moved away from the portal as well. So that is actually 3 points disappearing from Ulysses, if that would happen.
It could be that Ulysses only scores 1 to go to 6, and Johan could theoretically he could happily grab 4 cubes and 2 points, so he could get 6. So it could be 6-8 at the end of this round if.
Looks like Thanos is doing a spender because we're only seeing 2 defense dice on Johan's side.
Ah, yes, sorry, I missed that roll.
They haven't rolled yet. They're just generating dice and.
There we go. No, so it is 3 dice. Oh no, there we go. I think I was.
Have any power?
I think I was just lagging a bit. I think you were ahead of me there. Yeah, 2 defense dice. 5.
I read something in the chat earlier that there was slight lag.
Yeah, Wargaming Dad was saying there's a bit of lag issue with him. 5 dice. So it's Thanos Suspender is 5, but he can pump power in to make it bigger.
He doesn't have any power.
He did have. Oh, he spent 2 to move Crossbones into range 2. If he did do that, then I'm surprised he's not striking him.
Yeah,
because this won't generate power. Might do more damage. Maybe.
So it's 6 dice versus 4 or 5 dice versus 2, and he elected 5 versus 2, even though it doesn't generate power.
Okay, it looks like there's some rolling going on.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm lagging to the server. I can see 10 dice in the tray now. That doesn't sound right. There we go. This looks a bit better. Not a great roll. Okay, yeah. I am. So only 1 hit on 5 dice, but no blocks. So it's going to be a damage through onto Crossbones unless he spends a power to Inured to Pain. But then it's an interesting thing, spending power on Inured to Pain, when you know you want to spend 10 power on All According to Plan at some point in the not too distant future.
Yeah. Looks like he decided to... No. It looks like he decided to take the damage.
No, I'm not saying that. It looks like he spent the power. He was on 2.
All right.
So I think
still
he has...
on my screen.
Yeah, I think there's just a little bit of lag between different computers by the looks of things.
Yeah.
But he's still measuring out a whole load of stuff. We've got a short move from Sin and a range 3.
Could be tactical analysis. Or maybe timing.
Yeah. That's a good shout. She can afford to pay for climbing gear, and if she can get 2 attacks off, or 2 actions all attacking, then she'll gain 4 power. So it sort of refunds itself to an extent.
Mm-hmm.
But the cover on Thanos is gonna really help.
Yes. And he's, from the looks of it, he's only going to get 1 attack, 2 attacks with rapid fire, but...
Yeah. You could have a tactical analysis of someone.
Looks like he decided to shake Incinerate.
Yep. So his 3rd action with Time Gem, you're right, he has got rid of his Incinerate token. Good catch.
Given the board state, that is probably a quite smart move, because he does not... I mean, he has the points, all the points he needs. He doesn't have to fetch more.
Yep.
At the moment.
Crossbones, not having taken damage, didn't get too aggressive. Here we go. Here comes everybody's favourite 2-threat character. Haha. Okoye is looking at coming and launching a spear at Proxima. Staying out of portal range, which I think is nice, because then she can bodyguard to someone who is already incinerated and kind of mitigate that incinerate a little bit.
Yep.
Out a bit of rivals range.
It would have been even better to webline her off that car first.
I mean, if you can just do a bunch of damage, because Okoye does a bunch of damage sometimes.
On paper she doesn't, but in reality we all know what she does.
Well, that's 3 hits off 4 dice with the reroll into 1 block and then another one. So it's going to be one through. Yeah. Does 1, gains power. Seems good. Okoye done.
If he does 2 more, that's interesting for next round.
So yeah, Taskmaster, I like leaving Taskmaster at the back. He's got a cube. Someone's got to sit on that back point. It might as well be someone who's not bringing VPs to Black Order. So don't mind that at all. It's actually got a
nice move here. Ghost Spider can run up, webline, Spider Technique on Proxima, and then get another long move to go and grab that cube.
Or to go on the back portal.
That too.
Either way, you get a VP. One is guaranteed damage, but extra power, and the other one you get incinerated. So, interesting decisions. Hovering around the dice roller. So thinking about maybe doing a impact webbing instead of a webline punch?
Yeah, I suppose. Looks like he rolled dice, and he got the wild. If two...
No, I don't think they've rolled dice yet. I think that's the last attack that we're seeing the dice from.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, looks like there was an attack which did get a wild. Maybe, I'm not quite sure. The lag is a little bit difficult to figure out exactly what's happening, but I think those dice you can see in the tray there are ones that have just been rolled. 3. Jarvis didn't catch the dice results, but it looks like, and here comes the defense roll. So I think they're just lagging as well. So I think now they're all caught up. So this looks like the defense roll coming in now.
Yes, now we see some dice.
Although it looks like Ulysses isn't seeing dice. He's hovering over that trash button, which is like, I've clicked the dice. There's no dice. So I'll try clearing it again. So I think just lag being an element in this game, which is a shame.
We've been sort of lucky with the no lag so far this season. I think it was several top cut games last season, if I remember correctly, it was experiencing some lag.
Okay, 1 block plus another 1, so she'll take 1.
I remember you playing a legendary game against Jaborf where you ended up having to bring out some old measuring tools. All of them.
Oh man, that game broke so badly. Yeah, we had the old tools which didn't bend and they were fixed. You had a straight one and one which like an angle of 45 and one at 90, and we were just kind of having to everything is broken, but we got there in the end.
And now he's impact webbing her away. Yeah,
to get her off the point.
If she would have taken 1 more damage there, that would have been kind of big.
Yep, so that's the wild trigger there. So she's moved, and yeah, by doing that, I liked your plan of the web lining and then getting a move to go and get a cube or go and sit on a portal. I think I liked that play.
Well,
a little more.
To be fair, it would have generated 2 more damage into Proxima, which would have made her stand on, which would have made her daze in the power phase. Next round.
2 more damage. Well, I mean, just more attacks, isn't it? So even if those extra dice that she would have got hadn't translated into damage, you've got her closer so that more people can make attacks. So
Yes.
Sin looks like has spent 3 for climbing gear. Oh no, she just climbed. That's why she was moving short. Climbing up onto the size 3, ready for next round when we're looking for the Sin and Crossbones double activation show off and all according to plan.
Yeah.
And I tell you, if you take out Thanos with that, which is not super likely, but he's going to be taking another cube damage, so he's going to be down with 6 health. And Sin and Crossbones together might be able to do it. Corvus has then got a choice of, okay, I can take out Crossbones. Doesn't feel great. But he hasn't got a better mothership target because Thanos is going to be dazed and Proxima is miles away. So you're going to have to...
I think there is enough power for a all according to plan at the moment. Maybe with power up.
So look, what have we got? We've got 7 at the minute, plus 3. Yeah, it would be all of the power. It would be all of the power if he wanted to do it. No, Taskmaster's got a cube, so he'll get another one. So there'll be 1 power sitting on someone. I suspect Crossbones. Seems like a good person to leave 1 power on. So clean up. We've got a score of 8-3. So not quite as explosive as we thought it could have been.
It's well, a scoring tempo of 4 is perfectly acceptable for a control game.
Yep.
I mean, it's quite rare to win at the end of round 3. You basically need to play Wakanda Wave on Gamma and there are some other possibilities, maybe Criminals on Fisk and things like that. But generally, games go to round 4, and as long as you score 4 per round, then you.
Yeah, crazy dice can sometimes happen, and you just end up with all the extracts and suddenly racing off the board that way. That can happen too.
For sure. Usually from a huge swing round 3, where you score like 7 or 8 points.
So, haven't seen all according to plan yet.
So I think we can assume that he is saving it for a situation where he can get a character KO'd. Question is if that opportunity will ever arise.
Yep. And maybe it will.
Yeah, Proxima is in trouble if she, depending on how Ulysses elects to activate here.
Because it's range 4, the husband and wife, isn't it? So bringing Corvus that way is probably not going to end up in range 4. And if he goes that way, he definitely won't.
Does he want to go that way, though?
To just kind of hide. I mean, yeah, because Corvus is only size 2, so he'll be hidden behind that size 3 building. And Johan has no way of getting rid of buildings. There's no size 3 terrain throw.
I just mean he wants to be close to things he can kill.
Does he, though? I mean, the extra VPs are great, don't get me wrong, but he's holding 3 cubes. He only needs to score 1
Yeah, but Corvus isn't holding any cubes. So basically every attack into him is an attack that doesn't
change the scoring dynamic, yeah. But then Okoye's in an annoying position. She's going to be able to bodyguard for Gwen and probably Sin, by the looks of it. I'd have to measure it, but it looks like that's within 2.
That definitely looks within 2. I think.
And Corvus, he has got some power to make a death blow. So he doesn't have to be within 2, which is where you don't want to be when you're fighting Okoye. But she's not the most impactful character. Interesting to see what Sin gets up to. So you were talking about her spender earlier. Let's have a little look. She's a relatively new character. So
there's a possibility that it explodes. Not too unlikely possibility that it explodes into a second attack.
Yep. A crit in the wild.
On 6 dice, getting a wild and a crit is, well, I don't know what the exact odds are, but what could it be, like at least 25% or something?
I think I think it's slightly better than that. I think it's more like 30.
Yeah.
But still, it's something you can't bank on, but it's not going to happen. It's not going to be so rare that it's going to be, oh man, I've never seen that before. Somewhere between those two extremes.
It's no, what's the one on Angela? Head cleaver. Heaven's Wrath.
Heaven's Wrath, with cleave, yeah. So, eyeing up Ghost Spider, but that's just going to get bodyguarded to a Koye, and you're going to find yourself going into dice with rerolls and counting blanks and all kinds of shenanigans.
Yeah, and it's the range 4 measurement, which is the Atom Splitter Spear Throw attack.
It's also range 3 plus a 50mm base.
That is true.
So that's another thing he might be looking at. He's also got a long move on there. Is he eyeing up what Ghost Spider? He's trying to look at what Ghost Spider might do to Corvus.
This is a very typical thing to see in a Black Order game, where every activation is so important that you can't really afford to waste any. You can't put one foot wrong, so it generates a lot of tank time for the Black Order player.
Yeah, if this game ends round 4, there will have been 12 Black Order activations. I mean, unless we get the All You've Got, in which case we get 13. But still, it's so few. And Johan has already had that many activations.
Well, I suppose you could count Thanos as 1.5 activation.
I don't. He's 1.
Yeah.
So bringing Proxima in, she's got the option
of the corner, keeping the points safe
for sure, and it's within range 4, so he's got the option to husband and wife. So he's kept Proxima safe and enabled Corvus to try and make some attacks, probably into crossbows.
He's going to daze in the power phase next round. So, in order to score out, well, I suppose there's always the possibility for Thanos to triple run down to the corner and stand there with 3 cubes, if that grants him the win at that point.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
He could just consider that, he's going to be at something like at least 11 points after this round, and then say, like, Rorin's not going to get the 2 cubes that's in the corner. He's too slow for that, so I can basically just play out the grind with Corvus and Thanos, and 11 points is likely enough for that to be in the lead by round 6, maybe. Plus some small points here and there from Chaos and the cube on Thanos.
It's interesting because the cubes by themselves aren't enough to secure the win for Ulysses. He can't just run away with the extracts at this point. As after 2 rounds, he would have scored 6, and Johan can score the remaining 5. And we go to 14 to 15 to Johan, and he's scoring 5 to 3. He's got the scoring tempo advantage. The other thing is you would need 2 KOs in order to get the VPs from Thanos. So I don't think that Ulysses can afford to abandon the demon portals. So I think he's got to be planning to have either Thanos or Corvus end on a portal, which will
Yeah.
then change the scoring math.
Yeah, this round he needs to do that, or KO a character, which is impossible
Yeah, you
because
can't KO this
everyone's
round.
healthy.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, other than as a rule of thumb, I'm no Black Order player, but I have been playing against them quite a lot, and in my experience, a rule of thumb is that you really want to be dazing at least 2 characters round 2, to get the pain train rolling fast enough, because it's quite unlikely to score for Ulysses to score that many more points from KOs now.
And it's interesting seeing the fine margins we're talking about. You know, it's entirely possible that Johan brings this game out and Ulysses ends on sort of 14 VPs or 15 VPs, but Johan has just managed to squeak it out, which is again why Ulysses is taking his time and considering all of these decisions that he's got to make in making this activation. It's also why if you start playing Black Order, you can probably expect to lose a good number of your first few games as you're learning them, and you'll make mistakes and go, man, why am I just like 2 VPs or 1 VP off where I needed to be? And it'll be something as simple as, well, I didn't stand on that secure back in round 2 or round 3.
I mean, all it takes is for the opponent to have one injured character left in a corner somewhere and be ahead 1 point.
Yeah.
And what we usually see is Black Order falling quite far behind on points in the first 2 rounds. I think I've heard Utility Cookie say something like being down at 10-2 is often okay by the end of round 2, as long as you have the attrition advantage.
Yeah. So long as, you'll start dazing people and picking up all their extracts and just taking models off the board. And as soon as they start getting close to numbers parity with Black Order, then Black Order starts smiling a lot. So it's looking like he's eyeing up a move into a strike into Ghost Spider, which surely is going to get bodyguarded to Okoye anyway.
Absolutely.
So he's taking a lot of time to think about this, but
there's also the lifesaver to consider, which she obviously can't use on herself, but maybe that's what keeps him from looking at killing Sin. Because killing affiliated criminals makes it harder for the all according to plan play later in the game.
That's true, but we're currently sort of dancing around thinking this is going to end round 4, and I think that's pretty likely one way or another. We've got
maybe
some dice coming in, so we've got 4 dice. So it looks like he's going into Crossbones. That's default 4 defense from Crossbones. So this is likely to be Corvus with a bunch of dice.
Looks like did he pay for a Glaive's Edge? He probably did.
He's down on power, so yeah.
So that would mean that
maybe it's a death blow. I tell you what, I think it's a death blow. I think he's paid 4 for his death blow.
Okay. So then that means he's got the wild, but that's only 4 hits, and Crossbones blocked 3, and he can pay 1 to not take any damage there.
He's got a couple of crits to roll in still, I think.
Oh, that's true. 2 of them.
The skull crit and the regular crit.
Hard keeping track with all the lag.
And I think it's difficult as well, because I think Ulysses thinks maybe I rolled those dice and I've got those, and Johan saying, I don't think you have rolled those dice. So here they come in now, yeah.
So do you really think that Ulysses will be scoring more than 3 this round?
I think he's got to go and put someone on a point.
Yeah.
So, it looks like 4 damage crossbows. I think that must have been a Death's Decreed a Death Decreed strike, and so you've got the
Yeah.
pierce, because you've got, what, 5 hits, and he's taken 4 damage. 1, 2, 3, 4,
Maybe
5.
he Glaive's Edge as well. So that means 7
5,
hits.
7 hits, and then pierce 1 of those, so block 2, and then you should take 5, but then he pays to reduce by 1. There we go. That's how he took 4 damage. Yeah, that was a Glaive's Edge, Death's Decreed strike. We got there in the end. We figured out what was going on. Bit of detective work. So do you go into cross? I don't like
I
this.
think it was on 4 power and then he went down to 1. So that's 3 power for the Glaive's Edge rather than 4 for the Death Blow. So we'll see if he chooses to. Now he's paid another 3, it seems.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's
So
5 dice, so maybe another Glaive's Edge into
Glaive's Edge strike.
Crossbones.
No wild yet, but 3 crits.
3 crits. That's it matters for the Pierce.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is.
So 6 hits.
A bunch. 7.
7, yes, of course, the skull. Everything except shields. So
is down now.
He is, but that means that what, Thanos has to go and stand on a portal?
He does.
Or I guess he could like double/triple move to that top cube and pick it up, but that doesn't feel good either. I mean, maybe looking at where how about this? Where Proxima is and where Thanos is, you just go, well, I'm going to have 4 cubes, and yes, I'm going to take some damage, but then I'm going to run away with those characters next round, and I'm going to win it that way. And you can stand in the middle and commit 3 characters to standing in the middle, which won't be doing much.
Yes. He needs to be scoring.
4 dice attack.
Yes,
Sin.
If he moves, I think Sin is shooting Thanos then, and he will have cover there, so it feels kind of bad.
Oh, no, this is a Koye. What's happening?
The Bane of Thanos.
Well, not when she rolls a bunch of blanks. Yep, so that is not even worth rolling defense dice against that. I'm just going to block that one. Oh no, he's got 2 crits. Oh no, you do need to roll some defense dice. Although, probably not with cover. There we go, so
that's 3 blocks, effectively.
Yep, so nothing doing. Koye goes up to some power.
It looks like he was firing on Corvus. Corvus took damage now.
Ah, okay. So focusing so this focusing down Corvus, trying to take him down and then take him out after a all according to plan.
Yes, that is certainly a possibility here.
But it's not slowing his scoring. Corvus can't sit on those portals. I think I'd have preferred to see dice going into Thanos at this point.
It would have been looked way better if the score wasn't what it was.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah. Because that scoreboard pressure that Ulysses has got is really should be playing on the mind of Johan.
Then again, having Corvus taken away from you as a Black Order player is such a blow.
Okay, so we've got Sin spending 2. Is this hit and run? So she's going to shoot and then make a move. Not within 2, so Thanos is going to get cover, even though Sin's standing on it. That's an average roll from Sin, but 2 is going to be blocked by Thanos and his armor. Unless he's going into Corvus as well. No, it's measuring from Thanos, yeah. So here comes the second one, power to Sin. You might be looking at taking move first, because you can sequence the move and the additional attack either way round. That might have negated the cover if he'd have done that.
So what do we have now?
Whole load of nothing. 3 skulls and a shield. So didn't even bother rolling defense dice after that roll. But Sin will gain another power. She's going to take that move off the hit and run.
Ooh.
Looks like she wants to go and have a quiet word with Corvus with her second attack. Possibly with her spender.
That would
Range
put
2, make
all
it
according
personal.
to plan. Yeah, maybe, but
So 6 dice looking for what, a crit and a wild. Yeah, it's looking like the game is running very slowly.
Yeah. Ooh, 4 hits looks like.
Ah man, you're ahead of me. 4 hits is good. And did it hit the trigger?
He's rolled 2 hits, 2 crits and 2 hits on 8 dice. So he's obviously rolled his crits, and then Corvus has. It's very very hard to tell here because there's so much lag.
Yeah, I'm not even seeing any dice. So it looks like we're not the only ones experiencing lag. The way that Ulysses is playing and constantly clearing his dice roller. That feels to me. Here we go. Here's some dice coming down. There we go. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Lots of 2s. So Ulysses is struggling to see the dice that are spawning. That's what you're seeing here. Now he looks like he's caught up a bit. There we go. Here come Corvus's defense dice. And the crit helps. And that skull will count as well with the reality gem. So 2 blocks, 2 through. Oh no, reduced by 1 because of his invulnerability. So only 1.
Yep.
And no trigger on the power because it needs a crit and a wild. So slightly, maybe disappointing from Sin there, but I feel like you were chasing the game a little bit there, trying to make something happen into Corvus.
Yeah.
But sometimes you've got to take those chances and roll those dice and hope they go your way.
Likely it was the plan all along to try and daze Corvus from Rorin's side, but then the score slipped away from him. And there are still a lot of activations left, and Proxima will be dazed in the power phase, dropping 2 points, and
that does make it a lot harder for him to get 4 next round, doesn't it? So yeah, he can't just run away with the cubes. That's not going to work because of Proxima getting dazed.
he can potentially make up for it by dazing Sin with Thanos and then killing them both. Sin and Crossbones.
Ah, yeah, she does only have 4 health on her healthy side, so that he can.
Thanos should be able to make short work of that. I don't know about the Okoye bodyguard range there. There is also the lifesaver from Gwen, but Thanos can strike and then pull her back in with a portal or a mind gem.
And you'd happily all you've got Corvus because he's not carrying anything if it got you those extra VPs that you need.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
So Sin is in harm's way. Ghost Spider does have enough for a lifesaver, you're right. But I think then Thanos just moves up and punches twice anyway. I guess you might even be able to move beyond her, so punch her and throw her back towards Corvus. So that Corvus is in a better position. But I tell you why that doesn't work, because you, all according to plan, and then husband and wife, Sin and Crossbones, and both of them run away. So Johan's been very intelligent with the models he's chosen to put in harm's way, because he has a backup plan, I suspect, for getting them out of dodge.
Yeah. But as we said earlier, characters that are activated are always in danger. And he has consequently activated Ghost Spider after Thanos has gone every round.
Yes, that's what we were talking about at the beginning, saving your most important characters until later in the round.
Yeah. After Thanos has activated, the field sort of opens up. Then you don't have to worry about getting controlled, getting moved at all anymore. So you can act way freer to try and maximize the scoring.
So, do you have to, if you're Johan, do you have to now abandon some of those demons and lean into the attrition game? Is that what he's looking at now? Sort of thinking about.
I suppose he's looking at ways of getting a shield throw and hopefully spiking some damage into either Thanos or Corvus, or both with a ricochet. Sort of a desperate measure, but what are the options?
I mean, it hugely depends what Thanos does with his activation, doesn't it?
Oh, sure.
Because if Thanos does, he's going to have what? Yeah, with only Gwen left, and she's sitting on the center portal. He hasn't covered off the portals. Well, he hasn't played towards that line of play, that scoring solution of I'm going to score all 3 portals and a cube, possibly 2 if Gwen had run up and got that top cube. So that would have forced him to come into the portals more, forced Thanos to commit more. I think as it is now, Ulysses. I'm just trying to think ahead to round 4 and potentially round 5.
I'm having harder and harder time to see the game ending round 4 actually, because Ulysses will score 3, maybe 4 now, but then Proxima will drop the cubes, and he needs to score 4 to end it. If he scores 4 this round, I mean,
yeah, I think you're right. Actually, Black Order are sort of beginning to slow down and run out of steam, and that might leave the door open for Johan to come back.
it is certainly possible, but things need to go his way a little bit, and he needs to take some risks as well. And given how things stand, I don't think I would be that keen on taking risks. He's definitely in the driver's seat. When you are ahead, stay ahead.
So what would you do then? What's the most conservative thing you could do? Portal away. I've got no power on Thanos as well, so you can't portal anyone at the minute. So
I mean, if he wants to ensure 4 points this round at least, he could, I suppose, just move Thanos up, maybe double or triple move him to the remaining cube, grab that.
So it looks like
maybe, yeah.
It looks like Thanos did have 2 power. Yes, he did, and he spent it to Cosmic Portal Sin up onto the building, which is within range 2, probably.
Is he aiming to punch her away from the action?
Nope, I think he's aiming to get her away from the action. He's looking at a mind gem, outside of bodyguard range of Okoye, and just go, you go away. We're going to have fun and play with Crossbones next round. Next round is Crossbones time.
Yeah, and that is somewhat of a conservative play, because now he turns the all according to plan play into quite a bad one, I think. Which means it's unlikely that Johan will play it, or if he plays it, he won't get that much out of it, and that leaves Corvus the opportunity to quite leisurably KOing Crossbones, scoring him 1 point, which means that Thanos can basically Given that he scores 4 this round, in somehow maybe moving to the leftmost demon portal, then Thanos can just double or triple run down and pick up the cubes that Proxima will be dropping, stand in the corner, score another 4, go to 16, round 4.
Sploosh in the chat thinks that, yeah, Johan's just got to kill Corvus. That might have been from a while ago, though. It might have been before this series of attacks. I think just Tusk must have been picked up by accident there, so Johan replacing him back range 1 from that portal. So again, a lot of careful management, a lot of consideration. Where does Thanos go? He's used his mind gem. He's got no path cosmic portal, but he could.
So is he looking at a move, a energy blast, and then another move? Is that what the range 3 is?
Yeah.
For?
And you've got another action there, so you could take 2 energy blasts into Ghost Spider.
Yes, but then if he moves to the demon portal with 1 move, because I do think he wants to be scoring 1 point.
I think so too. I think you want to get Thanos on a portal as much as you don't want him incinerated. I think you need that VP. So
there was, of course, the option to just run up to the other cube. The one that's still lying there, waiting.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great roll from Thanos.
Oh, yeah.
And this...
Like maybe even one shot. No.
And it looks like it didn't get bodyguarded.
Oh, yeah. He did crit. Oh, yeah. It's... No, not a one shot. 4 damage?
4 damage, but he's got another attack if he wants it.
Yeah. Why didn't he bodyguard this?
It's a good question. Maybe he knew it wasn't going to take her out.
He gets pushed, right? If he wants.
Yeah, you got the wilds. Yep. This character push it's non-optional, so he has to push.
Titans will.
Yeah.
Oh, she has to be pushed on a wild. Yeah. That is interesting.
Must be pushed and gain slowed. And push away. Yeah, I'm not sure I understand why that wasn't bodyguarded. Maybe the thought was Okoye is not inside 2, and so she's not going to get to count blanks, and if that damage had gone into Okoye rather than Gwen, maybe that would have been dazed Okoye. And
also, if he had dazed the Ghost Spider there, then he actually would have lost priority. So that was maybe not such a smart move after all.
Yeah, although he rolled perfectly, as it turns out.
Yeah. But I mean, if that block from Johan wasn't there, then he wouldn't have needed to play all according to plan next round.
That is very true.
Scoring wise, I'm not sure that would have been better, but attrition wise, it certainly would have. Which
so
is ironic.
Thanos has moved and attacked. He's going to use Time Gem, and now that push has happened, I'm pretty certain he's going to move on to that back
Ghost Spider here. Is that an effect?
From Titan's Will.
Yes, push and a slow.
Yep.
Not bad.
On a long mover as well.
Yep, it stings. Question is what he will do with his last action now.
I think he's moving back onto that back point.
Yeah.
He was measuring it out before to check it was possible. I think that's certainly on his mind, even if he doesn't do it. But then what do you do instead? Have a pop at Okoye, I guess? Maybe you roll like that again. I think he's out of 2, so she's not going to get to count blanks.
No. Yeah, doing damage to Okoye over 1 safe point. Or maybe he has just conceded to the fact that he's not going to win round 4 unless he's lucky with some dice.
So let's have a look. It's got a bunch of power in order to pay for all according to plan. He's already got 12 power, so he's going to have to go to 15, 16 power across his 3 relevant characters. So, and it feels like if he doesn't...
Putting Thanos behind the police car at this point severely limits Ghost Spider's possibility to yank him off a point and deny him that, especially since she is now slow.
That's very true. Yeah, so you're using that as a front stop rather than a back stop. I think Johan almost has to play according to plan this round, if he's going to play it at all. Because if he doesn't, then Corvus goes and kills Crossbones. And then he's only got 2 characters that can pay the power. And it's much harder to pay it across 2 characters than it is across 3, especially when your 7, 8 power Crossbones has been taken off the table. So I would be... Yeah, if we don't see it next round, we're not going to see it this game.
No, I agree. Interesting
Thanos?
that Johan has used a single tactics card so far. Oops. Nudge on Corvus there.
Yeah, so just moving back right next to Corvus. Again, feels like Ulysses is not taking any unnecessary risks. He's like, no, do you know what? I don't need that VP. I don't need Thanos to be incinerated. It's fine. We're gonna go slow and steady wins the race.
Yeah.
And it may well do, but it gives Johan more time to bring force to bear.
Johan is gonna score 3 this round if he puts Ghost Spider on a point.
She's already incinerated, so it would make sense too.
Yeah. I suppose he could climbing gear to score 4 from another portal.
Or tactical analysis Koye onto a portal. I know, because Gwen's only moving slow now, isn't she? Yeah. Tough.
So she needs to climbing gear, shake, move long.
He is looking at some movement shenanigans, actually. Look, Sin is considering a short move, but that would have to be tactical analysis. She hasn't got enough climbing gear, and that would be off what? Taskmaster, potentially? Well, I thought it was range 2, and I think he's out of 2.
Tactical analysis has to be paid for by the active character, so only Gwen can.
Yes. And she's got plenty of power to do it, but she's not within range. Is it range 2 for tactical analysis, or is it range 3? It's been a while since I played it.
It's range 3.
Range
so
3,
she could maybe find a spot where she's within 3 after 1 move, and then use her second move to go to the portal, maybe.
Interesting, we're seeing 2 small moves. I wondered whether Ulysses was trying to help out. So yeah, she's going to stand on double move to stand on the portal. And given that he's going to, so it's range 3, so tactical analysis can move Sin. Given that we think we're going to see a priority steal.
He measured whether it would take her within 3 of Corvus earlier, and it looked out. So
yeah, that's a tick. So that is the end of the round.
So 11 to
8. So should Ulysses want to try and...
It's not totally off the table for Johan to take the lead after this round, since Proxima is dropping 2 points. Thanos or Corvus would have to retreat to pick up those cubes, and that might not be a bad thing. Johan can spread out the cubes in such a manner that there needs to be 2 actions to pick both of them up, though.
Yep, that seems like a good plan.
But I mean, it's not unlikely that we'll see another 3 from Ulysses and Johan, leaving the possibility for Johan to score maybe 5 if he goes for the remaining cube with someone. Ghost Spider didn't shake the slow, so that makes
That's
it hard. Okoye could run for it and
yeah,
then score all the portals, so that's 5, but that is still not enough. It would put the game to 14-13, which is sort of close for round 5.
maybe a slight mistake from Johan there. He double moved with a slow Ghost Spider, where maybe shaking the slow and a single long move would have had the same
Oh
effect.
yes, oh yes, for sure. That is definitely a mistake.
I mean, it's possible he got slightly further forward with 2 shorts than he would have done with 1 long, but
Yeah, two shorts are longer
he
than,
he
but
didn't even use the full second short though, because he wanted to be within one of the portals. So it's a slight play error there. We'll see whether it comes to bite him. Measuring short from crossbones, that'd be a mind gem?
I wonder what the significance of the initial, because round 1, Johan chose to pick up a cube with Bullseye and move him forward, putting him behind the Daily Bugle kiosk, which opened up the opportunity for Ulysses to bow in a character with a cube on it. Question is, was it that triggered the idea with Ulysses that, I can actually make a points game out of this?
Interesting to ask him at the end. So we've got power on characters. We haven't seen it yet. Johan, considering the all according to plan.
And like you said, he may be forced to use it now if he's ever going to.
Maybe he's resigned to not using it. Maybe he's happy. Crossbones soaking up those activations over there. I mean, Corvus 8 power. Maybe he could Death Blow. Yeah. Death Blow, Glaive's Edge. Maybe he could take him out in one shot. Another option is Thanos goes and does an energy punch into Crossbones. It's a lot easier to take out with energy attacks.
Yes, for sure.
So what he's eyeing up there, the short push is what's confusing me. Or the short measuring stick, because that would
Maybe a mind gem or
well.
something.
But then why are you measuring 3 from Corvus? Do you want to get him out of 3?
Lifesaver. Maybe.
Yep. Yeah, because does Lifesaver require line of sight?
No.
Doesn't it? Because her pull
Pretty
does,
sure.
Webline does. No, it does have to be within line of sight for Lifesaver. So, interesting to see. Do we think Gwen's got a line of sight to Crossbones there? I think it's tight, and I wouldn't be surprised if she didn't.
I don't think she needs line of sight.
For Lifesaver?
It's like within this character's LOS. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll look at it from on top. I think she has line of sight to him. It's not crystal clear, but I would give Johan the benefit of the doubt here.
See, I'm pretty certain that she doesn't. I mean, I'm not there on the table,
Right.
but I'm making the judge call. But looking at it without a line tool, I'm just kind of putting my hand against the screen and trying to the best I can. I think that looks like it's out of line of sight. So maybe
Possibly.
let's get this camera back to.
I'm going to disagree with you. I think he's in, but we'll see. We'll see soon enough.
Maybe.
Well, Ulysses is obviously making measurements as though he is within line of sight.
Yeah. And so he's planning around that and thinking, how does that pan out? So Corvus is spending some power. We've put 4 power off him.
Yep, and that's 4 power.
So
Death
that's
Blow and Death's Decree, it seems.
So a 9 dice Death Decree by the looks of it. So this is going to be, and Crossbones is taking it.
Yeah, no lifesaver. Maybe it was possible.
Yeah, maybe they caught that line of sight. Oh, a great roll. Oh, I was going to say a great roll from Crossbones, but that's not an attack roll. So 6, 7...
Only 1 block.
8 hits.
And that is a lot of hits. Yeah, 8.
Yeah.
So he is 1 shot. Huge blow.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to ask Johan about considering all according to plan there, because I think he could have got Crossbones safe.
Yeah.
And they've added on to the VP.
Still would have had the chance to daze Corvus, and that would have left Thanos as the only activation for Black Order this round.
Yeah, oh yes, dazing Corvus. It's not impossible at all.
I would not be surprised at all if we would be seeing an all you've got from Corvus here.
Trying to daze Gwen. I mean, he could just throw a spear at her. She's very. Got a clear there, haven't you? Is the issue? Yeah. Okay, so this is the medium move off the death blow. So
that would open up for Thanos to comfortably move south and pick up 2 cubes. And just sit in the corner and score 3.
And then think Corvus is going to kill something next round. It's looking unlikely.
Either that or...
it would be probably nearly all of the power off Taskmaster and Sin to play all according to plan.
Yeah.
So again, just taking his time, making sure the tools are all set up right.
If he dazes a bunch of characters, he lowers the probability that Johan actually scores 4 or 5 this round, which he needs to be doing, because if Thanos just rounds down and sits in the corner, it's going to be 15 to something like 10.
Maybe 11, but sure, yeah.
And then safe from those 3 points in the corner, there just aren't enough left on the board for Johan to win.
Yep, that seems bad.
It would end at 17-15.
So it looks like we're having a strike. Dice roller, some dice coming in. No?
And this is the flurry strike from the...
Of course it is, yeah. Sorry, because it's been separated in time, I'd forgotten that trigger. Yep, got 2 wilds on the previous attack roll, so it gets to move and make a... So this is still part of his first action. Oof. Corvus doing some work.
Yep, and this is a power generating attack, although Ghost Spider only has 1 power to offer him.
Yeah, I'm lagging again, so I can see that dice have been rolled, but we can't see what they've rolled yet.
Yep. We'll just have to be patient.
Of course, Johan knows exactly what they've rolled, because Johan is hosting the game. So he can see. Those 3 wilds would have been lovely.
Yeah, for sure.
So 6, 7.
I can't really see Ghost Spider surviving. And I don't see any power paid on Okoye for Bodyguard either.
Yeah, again, interesting. That's the second attack that could have been bodyguarded, but wasn't.
Maybe he considers Okoye a better damage dealer than Ghost Spider, and therefore she is more important as
okay.
when for chasing dazes. to get points.
No blocks, but only 1 hit.
But that is enough. No, there was a bodyguard.
Yes.
Because now Okoye
must have been. Or he just struck into Okoye instead of into. I know he's out of 2. Yeah. So there must have been a bodyguard going on there. But she's out of range 2, which is why she's not counting the blanks. Yeah, that makes sense.
And here we see he paid 4.
He's paid 6.
Another death blow. One would.
He's paid. What has he paid? He's paid 5. He went from 6 down to 1.
Glaive's Edge and something maybe. It's 7 dice, so it's. I would assume it's a death blow.
Yeah. Possibly with Glaive's Edge on it. I'm not quite sure about the power math there.
Maybe he.
What he did. He didn't add on the power from the strike, so he should have been on 7. It should have been. Yeah, no, I'm slightly lost. I've lost track of the power math there. But that's a dazed. He's gone into Gwen, and he importantly
he didn't bodyguard.
He didn't bodyguard.
Or was going for points here.
And you got the wild trigger as well, so he could take the flurry. Gwen is dazed, so there's no point. There's no one to flurry into unless he moves to flurry into, say, Okoye.
Corvus likely looking to stand on a portal.
Or hide behind a car, get some cover that way, because he's only size 2.
Yes. That point might be crucial though, because as things stand, he only needs to score 4, and Gwen is now dead, so there's no way of getting Corvus off that point other than killing him. And Okoye looking to double move to the cube makes that even unlikelier. So I actually think that may be game.
Not yet, because you can just.
Johan is seriously running out of options.
He is.
Corvus off the portal. And now all Thanos has to do is triple move and pick up the 2 cubes next to Proxima, giving him 4 points and winning.
Oh, man. Yes. Now, if Gwen wasn't a short moving, then she could have run over there and grabbed... no, she's dazed, isn't she?
She's dazed.
Yep. And Crossbones is
Which
KO'd.
is what makes all the difference.
Yeah. So the lack of bodyguard seems very strange there.
I don't know if Thanos can reach both cubes, but I think he can quite easily.
That's the other one. Just off the picture, there it is. Okay.
So Sin.
I think you double move to one, single move to the other. I think he can get both.
Maybe Sin can climbing gear. No, she doesn't even have the power for climbing gear. Yeah, this is over. And we're seeing the. Yep, there it is. What do you know? Black Order winning on points and running to corners. That's not something you see every day.
No. Well, I think...
How did it come to this? Very interesting.
Johan's clever list design, I think, has caused Ulysses to have to reevaluate on the fly, and he's done that very well.
Yes, for sure. The pattern-breaking move, I suppose, was the Thanos double moving to the middle round 1 and actually scoring that portal in front of Johan's entire team.
Yeah, which we talked about being. We talked about that being like a bold play, but it's really paid off for him.
And allowed to bring Bullseye in with a point helped things for sure.
Yeah. Although he dropped that on the floor. It's only the round after that Proxima picked it up, wasn't it? But still, bringing that VP to you.
I do think that if you're playing against Black Order, you need to be way more conservative with your extract holders round one. That is, it's quite a big swing. It's not only losing the point round one, it's likely losing it round 2 and 3 as well.
Yeah, they're very difficult to take down.
Just trying to contest here to stop.
Stop the victory.
No, it's out.
And
I don't know if there was a possible tactical analysis at some point, probably with Taskmaster. It could have made the game go for one more turn, but I don't really see how that would have made a huge difference, to be honest.
Let's jump into the other room and hear their post-game analysis, but we'll give them a bit to talk before we jump in with the questions.
Yeah.
Maybe not what you expected together with... I was hoping, if you had the Incinerate or a Cube or something on Corvus, then I have a much easier time to start chipping him down to get him to injured.
Yeah.
I was hoping, if at the beginning of this turn he was on the injured side, I would have gone with all according to plan and basically loaded everything I got into him to try
I
to
had
take
to
him out.
play.
But
I had to play super cautiously because I was just so afraid of your all according to plan play that I basically had to minimize its usefulness. So like every turn I was just like, how can I minimize that?
But I think I can't play it when you're still on the helpless side. I was considering doing it this turn because Proxima would go out and I could probably take Corvus with me. But since you had, if I had the lead on points, maybe it would have been worth it. But when you had the lead on points, what I said was basically I have to hope that somehow Crossbones creates a miracle and survives, and then I can play from there. But
when Thanos almost one-shot Gwen, I was like, just because that's like Ulysses' worst
It happened last time too when I one-shot Cabal with the same attack. It's just like, what is this?
Guys, thank you for.
Maybe it would have been better, but
thank you for a very entertaining game. Congratulations to Ulysses and commiserations to Johan. Should we go back to crisis selection? So Johan, you won priority and chose extracts. Just dig into your thinking there a little bit.
I think it's starting to be a bit conventional wisdom if you let the Black Order take the randomized non-scoring extract, then things are going bad usually. I've tried it a few times, and I don't like playing Scrolls Rally and ship into Black Order because Corvus has a really easy time to find it, and also they can play really good everything game from that. So I wanted to force him away from that. And when I've been trying a bit, I haven't been able to play as much as I'd hoped to this week. Usually I try to get some practice games in, but I've been visiting my parents and so on. So it's been haven't been able to try as much of the combinations. But I played this actually once, Demons and Cubes, and was able to win that one. But that requires that I can take Corvus to the injured side at some point, so I can all according to plan to take him down. But I just wanted to avoid Skrulls and Alien Ship. That's the reason to take extracts.
And Ulysses, you're probably very happy not to discard demons.
Yes, so Demons was my preferred, but I would have also been okay with Extremis because he has to split up, and so that can minimize his defensive attack with Okoye and Ghost Spider, and it's also pretty low scoring.
Yep.
And so either one of those would have been fine, but I'm happy that I got Demons.
But then you had a lot of interest in the list that you were bringing. So 6-wide leaderless. Do you want to talk us through your thinking there?
Yes. We tried this, as I said, I think a couple of days ago with Hugo, your co-commentator. So I think basically what I ended up with is, first of all, I had a bit of a, I wasn't sure if I wanted cubes or research station. and I discarded Research Station, so that made the choice much, much easier for me. so, so I went with cubes. And I think the basic idea of this list is if I bring a 4 threat, that usually just is something he can paint a bigger threat, like a bigger crosshair on with Black Order, because my experience is that Black Order, whatever they see, they kill. And especially I think Kingpin has the other drawback as well of being slow. So if he decides to not go for him, then Thanos can just double move him away, and then he's never relevant because he just has to like walk twice to get back to be relevant, and then Thanos does the same thing next turn. Yeah, I mean, on some scenarios he's good, but when the secure only scores 1, then I don't see a good point for the leadership, and I think he's more of a weakness than a strength in this matchup most of the time. But yeah, it's always a bit questionable. I think it's also to fit. Like I could probably take Kingpin and Widow for Bullseye and Ghost Spider, but I think both of them have decent attack against Black Order. Maybe Bullseye is the more questionable one, but I mean Ghost Spider is really strong into Black Order, so I think she provides more than the leadership and Kingpin does in general.
I think that's definitely true. But did you feel that your list maybe was lacking a little bit of punch?
Like my experience is that Crossbones, when he gets taken to his injured side, like he can usually, walk up to Corvus, take a couple of hits, and then be fairly loaded on power. And Crossbones with like double Haymaker strikes or a Haymaker strike in an overpower can do a lot of damage. So usually that's what I'm looking for to get my punch in when. But that's what I was waiting for. I was hoping that I could get Corvus to the injured side, because if I just daze him, then he can usually, when he comes back on the other side and has priority, then he just murders everybody. So I feel like I need to chip him down to the other side and then go for the big strike.
Good question from Tarnium in the chat. You didn't play any of your tactics cards. Would you think that in retrospect you would have chosen different tactics cards, either from your roster or something you wish you had in your roster?
No, not really. I think all of them are. These all cards are to build up for the big turn. Like I want to play basically everything I have at that one turn when I have managed to injure Corvus. So I want to basically do all according to plan, and then I want to do bitter rivals so I can lower his dice, and I want climbing gear and potentially tactical analysis to get people in place to actually punch him. So I guess it's Brace that can be. Brace is the I get question mark. It could be R&D or something like this to potentially get some power around. I think I misplaced Ghost Spider a bit early. If I had Ghost Spider more central, I might have been able to reach, like walk up, get the power, and also reach him. Or if I had R&D, I could just have double moved to within 4 to save Bullseye from the turn 1 strike. So I think it was a bit of a misplay, and potentially R&D would have helped. I mean, R&D in the situation I put myself in, R&D would have helped. The question is, could I have actually just played better and not had R&D? Because I pretty quickly regretted my positioning of Ghost Spider over here. I would have preferred to have her, basically as central as possible, because then she can easily do the move up and get an attack onto somebody to have the power to. Because if she would have been somewhere here, then I think she could have probably gotten Bullseye out of a bit of a mess potentially.
Or if Bullseye would have gone back after picking up the cube instead of forward.
Yeah, he could have, but
on top of the truck.
But I mean, he got me here. It wouldn't really have mattered if he was here instead.
Maybe.
Ulysses, we were saying that Thanos into the center, grabbing a cube, round 1, that was quite a bold play. Were you worried at all? An incinerated, damaged Thanos was going to go down?
Yeah, and so that is why I made the Bitter Rivals play, was to make it so that he would have less dice if he went into Sin, if he used Sin there. So I was concerned about that, and that's why I did the Bitter Rivals play there.
And then, but Crossbones walked away next action. Were you like disappointed with that, or did you think that was a fair trade for essentially taking away that activation and the positioning change?
Yeah, so I thought it was a fair trade. That was all that I was trying to force. I was trying to make it so that Sin couldn't just open up into Thanos, or if she did, she had less dice.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was basically like I'm trading 3 power to make it a lot more difficult for something to happen to Thanos. Because then Thanos basically positioned like he needed to be, got behind here, got rid of Incinerate, and basically set up my long game.
Mm.
Whereas if I don't play Bitter Rivals there, I think that there's a really good shot that onto an incinerated Thanos that Sin can just mow him down. So that's what I was concerned about. It definitely was.
At
In
what
my
point?
mind, always like Sin is. I mean, it's a stretch for her to do 1 damage into Thanos without Bitter Rivals. But yeah, I mean, potentially she can do it. Because usually you can expect maybe 1 block or at least a reduced like damage reduction, and she is doing 1 to 2 hits maybe, or maybe 2 hits. Yeah.
Yeah, but then also you probably might get
the crossbones, cross activation.
Exactly, and so that's what I was sort of worried about there.
Yeah.
You know, we noticed you in the early turns in particular not passing when you could for fear of the Sin and Crossbones stealing priority. Is that on your mind?
Yeah, so I've lost a tournament before because I miscounted priority. And so I was just making sure that I wouldn't give away priority there. That was just something that I probably shouldn't have done, but I did it out of me not trusting my counting skills.
Yeah, no, I think I tried, at least the first turn I tried to keep Sin and Crossbones late to force him to have, or to basically force me to have 2 activations at the end. Not that it gives a big impact, but I think it at least keeps the Black Order player on their toes. So I think it's an interesting play you can do. It like if you have a good reason to go with somebody else last, then I don't think it's worth like giving up any other opportunities. But if you don't have anything better to do with the last activation, then keep them around to force your opponent to think. You can always force some mistake somewhere, and yeah, the more opportunities you give your opponent to do a mistake, the better it is usually.
Yeah,
Ulysses, winning on points round 4 is could be seen as rather unconventional for a Black Order game plan. At what point did you decide to go for points rather than attrition, which is more commonly seen?
So it's probably cubes. So in like the past when I've played against people with cubes, I've actually won on points a lot. And so often that is something that I'm always looking to do on cubes. And a lot of it was that I just went for the early aggressive play with Thanos. And so that basically gives me the option of just trying to ignore this and get up on extracts. And then just play a control game. So that's sort of the pro of the very aggressive Thanos move.
Yeah, for sure.
So basically that I was trying to open myself up for that sort of line of play as soon as I moved Thanos up.
I think for me the big swing with that was I was pretty fine with Thanos being here, but when I couldn't, I was hoping I could get 1 more damage into Proxima, so she would be out of the game a turn earlier, so you couldn't run away with them. So that was kind of where I got a bit more worried about the points, was when Proxima didn't go down that turn. So
yeah, we noticed that you didn't use Webline to get her off the car before attacking her.
Yeah, I thought about that a bit too late. I probably should have. So yeah, that probably was my bad. I should have moved her off the portal and shot her. That probably could have switched.
It would
3 points that turn.
With the same dice, you would have gotten 2 more damage in, so she would have gone to. She would have died in the next power phase.
I think just one. Yeah,
No,
depending on
because
the order,
she had
maybe.
cover against both Okoye and Ghost Spider's impact webbing.
Yeah. So if I had gone with Ghost Spider before Okoye, but I think I didn't. Yeah.
No.
But yeah, definitely, it was something I thought of, but too late.
There were a number of opportunities for Okoye to bodyguard the various attacks that came into Ghost Spider, and I think you bodyguarded one of them. Was there a reason that you were being a bit more cautious about bodyguarding?
I think most of the time the attacks came into Ghost Spider, like Corvus had already gone most of the time, so I didn't feel like it was that important to keep Ghost Spider alive for that turn. Since they weren't within 2 of Okoye doesn't really have a better chance of surviving than Ghost Spider does, so I didn't really value Ghost Spider that much higher than Okoye at that point.
I think she was all of your displacement effects, wasn't she? It's just Ghost Spider, so
yeah,
maybe seeing we saw there, if you can get Corvus off that point, then the game goes another round and you hang in there.
But I felt like when he did a big attack, it was pretty likely that Okoye would die, and he could probably could have gone here and killed Ghost Spider and scored the point if I took it on Okoye. So that would have been a big gamble if that he didn't roll the wild, basically. And I felt like that was it. I mean, as it ended up, obviously it would have been better.
Yeah.
But no, not really better, because I think she would have it would have been the same situation, just without Okoye alive as well. So.
Also, Ulysses, you progress on to face either Wakanda or Defenders, Pat or crikey, his name's escaped me.
Mike DeLuca.
Mike DeLuca, thank you. Have you got any thoughts about which player or which list you would rather go up against?
I'd probably rather face Defenders, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, both of them are really, really good players, and so it's gonna be a tough game either way. So I'm just gonna wait and see who I play and see how it goes.
So for once, we've got someone who's not rooting for #DodgePat.
Yeah, I mean, basically the age-old adage is basically, if you want to be the best, you have to beat the best.
Yeah.
And really, that's how these tournaments go. There's no if you really want to win, you just have to be willing to face whoever you have to face.
Yeah, you got to beat the person in front of you, whoever they are.
Absolutely.
Brilliant. Well, guys, thank you for a very entertaining and absorbing game. Good luck in the next round, Ulysses. And Johan, plans for next season? Something brewing already?
Yeah, we're seeing some questions in the chat here about what you think of the new additions to Criminal Syndicate in the shape of Mysterio, Craven, and Omega Red.
I'm very excited for Omega Red mainly, but I'm probably going to play around with all of it. I'll see. I'm still excited for Criminal Syndicate. I've been playing them for quite a while now, and I think I got to the same place last season. I think I won my first game and then lost in the top 8 against Morgan that time. So I'm at the same time as I am a bit excited to try to get Criminals up again, because it seems like nobody's really representing them. I also maybe should try some new things as well. We'll see what happens. I think
You said this the last time as well, and then you ended up going back to Criminals.
I dropped Asgard, right? Huge difference.
Mm-hmm. Well, guys,
no, but I have. I think the spam list is both interesting and really good, so I might give that a try. No promises though. Or I think Omega Red is what excites me the most at the moment. I just want to get a hold of him to be able to try some things. I think my little favorite of Bullseye might have a really good companion in Omega Red. So we'll see if that pans out.
Well, guys, like I said, thanks so much for a great game. Thank you to Wargaming Dad, our table judge, and AJP2, our line judge. And yeah, I can't wait to see what both of you get up to in the near future.
Yep. And good luck
Thank you very much.
in the next game, Ulysses.
Oh, thank you.
Don't bring shame to me. To be beaten by somebody who does really well.
Brilliant. Cheers, guys.
Yep. Cheers.
Yes.